Hello, everyone, and welcome to Author Hangout, some live streams for kids. We're having a lot of bookish fun, and today we've got a very special guest, Deb Abela. She's a superstar author. So let's get the show started. Yes, it's fantastic to be joined by Deb Abela, and all week we're going to be joined by different authors and creators, and it's really exciting because we're doing a bit of a YABBA theme, and I'll explain YABBA a little bit further in just a moment. But first up, I want to meet Deb Abela, and I want you all to meet Deb Abela. So here she is, beaming in from her place. It's Deb Abela.
Hello, how are you, Adrian?
I'm great. How are you? What are you up to at the moment?
Well, I'm hanging out in my attic. This is my attic where I write all my books, and if I get a bit stuck, I just usually sit down and read some of those books just there.
Some of those books just there, and I noticed there's a few new books there. One very new book, Bear in Space, which we might get to in a little bit. But for those who don't know, and there's only probably one or two kids out there, and I should say that if this is appearing in mums and dads or guardians or whoever's feeds, uncles, aunties, whatever, we don't mind. If this is appearing in your feed, make sure you get your kids to sit down and have a look at it, because we're obviously going out live today, but also you might be watching this on YouTube or any other way. So make sure you sit down, get the kids involved, because we're going to have some boredom busting challenges that Deb has come up with, which is awesome. And also we're going to ask her some super fan questions too. So we're very excited to have the show happening today. But before we get to that, Deb, as I was just saying, for those kids then, there'd only be one or two that aren't sure about you and all your books and all that sort of stuff, can you give us, and this is putting you on the spot, I know, but can you give us a little bit of a synopsis or a blurb about you, Deb?
A blurb about me.
Superstar author.
So I've been writing since I was 7. I've always loved reading books and writing books. I've written 27 books so far about spies and soccer and flooded city and wolves and bears and World War II. I've written quite a lot of different things, and I love it.
And you love it. World War II. Fantastic. What were the first books that you ever released?
The very, very first books I ever released were, it was a series actually called the Max Remy Super Spy series. And it was about 2 young kid spies who get to travel all over the world with great gadgets, saving the world from bad guys.
Oh, wow. So were you ever a spy? What inspired that?
I can't tell you that.
You can't reveal if you're a spy. So kids,
I can't reveal if I'm a spy. You know how this works?
Spy. Kids, she might still be a spy right now. This whole author thing's just a cover, okay? So Deb, Max Remy Super Spy was the first one. That's it right there. Yes.
That's the very first one.
Excellent. And then you've done a whole heap of soccer books as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I actually hooked up with an amazing Australian socceroo called Johnny Warren, and he was one of the most amazing socceroos ever. And he said, I want to write a series of books about soccer, but I don't know how to write. And I said, well, that's great. I know how to write. I don't know anything about soccer. And so we actually teamed up, and we came up with a book together called Jasper Zemmett's Soccer Legend, which might be behind me on my shelf.
Can you
No,
spot
I can't see it.
Well, there's a lot to choose from, so it might be hard to find.
It's somewhere.
Now, I talked a little bit about YABBA before.
Yes.
Now, YABBA, of course, is the Young Australian Best Book Awards. So let's just have a look here, because I'm so excited about this. You were, one of your books was nominated in the Fiction for Older Readers category.
Yes.
New City. Now look at all these other great books as well. Obviously, Treehouse, Felice Arena, Tim Harris, Matt Stanton, Jacqueline Harvey, Jessica Townsend, Belinda Morell, my old mate Michael Wagner, Karen Foxley, and of course Deb Abela with New City. How exciting is that? What is New City all about?
Well, New City's actually the second in a trilogy, so it's kind of nice that the second book gets noticed. You know how the first child gets lots of attention, and then the second one comes along and people go, yeah, whatever. So it's actually really nice that the second one...
I was happy to get all the attention.
Yeah.
Well, you're the second child. You're talking like you were a second child now.
I was a second child,
Yes,
so this is kind of me, this book. But it's actually, so this is my cranky trilogy series. Sometimes authors write books because they just get plain cranky about things. And so the first book in the trilogy is called Grimston, and it's basically about a bunch of kids who are living in a flooded city with sea monsters, flying machines, and girls who are good with swords. So there's lots of adventure and action and all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of this book, they manage to leave the flooded city and they end up in a place called New City. And there are different problems in this book. There is the weather's gone really wild and quite unpredictable, but also there is a secret at the edge of the forest. Yeah, which changes everything. And I can't tell you what that is. Then what happened was I had a bunch of cranky kids writing to me saying, great, thanks for writing New City. What happens in the next book? So this is the very third and final book in the series where the kids go to a very special elite school called the Academy, where they create lots of inventions to help with the kind of wild weather. But while they're there, the main character meets another character called Alexander Larson. She creates a hoverboard, which you can see right up there on the front there. But there's wild weather again. Someone from the kids' past returns, and the main character, Isabella Charm, ends up in huge trouble.
Ooh, huge trouble. That's no good, but exciting. So that is good in some way. So Deb, that's pretty exciting to be to be nominated for one of your books to be part of the YABBA shortlist.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And the phase that YABBA's in now, so the nominations have happened. And right now, YABBA is asking all the kids to read all these books, because later in term 4, they'll be asked to vote, because there's a huge ceremony at the end of the year, which you never know, Deb, it could be you. It could be your book that takes home the gong.
You know what? It's actually just so nice to be on that shortlist because, like you said, and like we saw before, all of those books on that shortlist are some of my favorite books ever. So for one of my books to be standing like right next to those books, it's really fun. So if that's what happens, I'm very happy with that.
That's awesome. So you said that it's a little bit inspired by climate change. Is that true? The whole series sort of tackles that issue. And so New City, it's sort of set in the future, and they're kind of looking for a new city.
Yeah, and they do manage to find this high-tech modern city with these really fortified buildings and people actually working to help the planet. Because one of my favorite things to do is to go hiking in the wilds, like just a backpack, not much else, and just walk for days and days and days through forests and hills and stuff. And I love this planet, and that whole series kind of came about because I thought we need to take better care of our planet because it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and we can do it. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it, just taking way better care of this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for talking to us about New City. So it's very much worth kids checking out New City and the whole trilogy, and all of Deb's books, because they're all amazing, aren't they, Deb?
Oh, you're very kind, Adrian. I don't know. I'll leave it for my readers to decide.
I take it from me. They are all amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn a little bit about Deb's latest book soon. But before we do that, we are going to take some questions from a super fan. Now, I noticed we've had a few comments coming through on Facebook already for those that are watching. Kylie Howarth, I should say. I should get it right. She's an awesome author illustrator from WA. She's saying, "Hi guys." Hi Kylie. And
hi Kylie.
And we've even got the president of YABBA herself tuned in, and she's saying Deb writes epic stories, which is pretty good.
That's Michelle, isn't it? She's very kind. Hi Michelle.
Becky Lucas says, "Go, Deborah Abela, author." So if kids, if you've got mums and dads that can write down messages, or indeed anyone at all, mums and dads, authors, friends, anyone, if you want to write messages or questions at any time, please feel free to do so, and we'll try and get to some. But as I said, we want to get to the superfan question. So when I announced that Author Hangout, this awesome online bookish kids show, was coming back, we got heaps of questions for all the authors that are going to be featured. So we've got Deb, we've got you today, we've got Tristan Banks tomorrow, we have got Sally Rippon on Wednesday, we've also got Michael Wagner and Jane Godwin on Thursday, and we finished the week off with Heath Mackenzie. So we've got a pretty good week That's right. Pretty good week of authors and bookish fun for kids. So if you've got any questions, feel free to send them through to me. Get your mum and dad to do it via Facebook, or shoot me an email, and all my details are on my website. And you can get in touch with me. And that's just what someone has done. So we're going to get to our superfan question for Deb Abela.
Superfan question.
Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. The superfan question. Now, I wonder if it's about New City, the wonderful book just there. Let's see. No, I don't think it is, but that's okay. That's fine. So the question is, dear Deb, I'll do it in, so we've got from Ben, age 9 3/4, and I'll use my best acting voice here to make sure that we're doing him justice. Dear Deb Abela, hiya. I love your books, like love them. They're sick. Most of all, I really, really like your spelling bee books. They got me thinking, do you love words and grammar and all that stuff? It drives me wild sometimes. Not as much as my little sister does, though. Oh, poor Ben and his little sister. Do you have to be a good speller to be a good writer?
Ben, hi Ben, first of all. Do you have to, I'll do the last question first. Do you have to be a good speller to be a good writer? Spelling's one of those things that the more you do it, the more you read, the better you get at it. So I wouldn't let it get in the way of your story. So when you're in the middle of a brilliant idea and you're creating lots of action with sea monsters or flying machines, just focus on that, and we can worry about the spelling later. Spelling is important, but we get better at it as we go. So the spelling bee books, this is actually the second one in the spelling bee books. Yeah, it came about because I had this brilliant teacher when I was in year 4, and her name was Miss Gray, and she would read us stories, but also she would hold the spelling Olympics every Friday afternoon. So she would hand us some words to study on a Monday, and on a Friday, we would have this massive kind of like almost running race to the blackboard to write down the words to see if we could spell them. So she made me love words and stories, and she also was the first person who pretty much said to me, you can be a writer. If you keep practicing, you can do it.
The power of a great teacher. It's incredible, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Miss Gray. She's so amazing.
Hi, Miss Gray. Well, I think that's a very good point, though. Your first point, though, was that you don't necessarily have to be excellent at grammar or excellent at spelling. I personally think it's about having a creative idea. What do you think, Deb?
Yep.
So as long as you use your brain to come up with something original and something fun and something that you think is exciting, then you can worry about some of that other stuff later.
I think so too. And it comes with practice. If you want to play soccer, you're not going to be a great soccer player in game 1 or 2, maybe game 3 or 4, but and I'm still practicing. I don't know about you, Adrian. Do you feel the same way? Like we're both still practicing with each book. It feels like we're trying to get a bit better than the last one. We're trying to learn things that we didn't learn kind of maybe from the last one. So it's kind of like we're authors in progress.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, kids would probably think the same thing. I mean, we do it, as Deb just said. We're always trying to make our next book even better than our last book. So it might be the same with kids that are doing creative writing, or they might be doing some sort of projects or whatever. They're always striving to make their next work even better than the one they just did. So we're exactly the same. So I think that's good advice. All right. Thank you, Deb, for your superfan question, answering it for us. That was awesome. And as I said, any of the authors that we've got coming up this week, Tristan Banks, Jane Godwin and Michael Wagner, Sally Rippon and Heath McKenzie. If you've got a question, please get in touch, and we will absolutely try and make sure that we put them on the spot and get to know all their secrets, which would be pretty fun. All right, before we let you go though, Deb, we want to hear about your latest book. And to do that, you've come up with an awesome boredom buster for us. So let's get into it.
Boredom buster.
That's too cute. So I've got on the very front page of my website, which is just deborahabela.com, you will find this sheet here. Now, this is an activity sheet where you can build this.
Wow. A rocket.
Isn't it cute?
It's awesome.
Oh my gosh. So this is a rocket, and so you can build your very own rocket. And the reason why I wanted to show you this today was because I have a brand new book coming out in just a few weeks, and it's called
Bear in Space.
And it's about a bear
in space?
Yeah.
How do you do this stuff, Deb?
So clever, isn't it? And in this book, he actually builds a rocket and he goes into space. And so I thought it would be really great to have your very own rocket. So the very, very clever illustrator, Marjorie Crosby Farrell, has made this for you. So all you have to do is cut out all these little bits here, and you can glue them together or even tape them together, and
look at that.
You have a boredom buster blast off rocket.
How cool is that? I've actually got the bits. I've got the bits here. I've been assembling them madly. So I'll just show you how easy it is to make a rocket on the fly. So you cut them out, as Deb said. You sticky tape, or use a bit of glue to stick it all together. And so it's just a bit of folding and a bit of sticky tape, and anyone can do it. And this is the rocket. This is the rocket that the bear uses to go to space. So there we've got that much done so far. And then you just do a little bit of a curvy, that's called the fuselage. The fuselage.
Oh, very clever.
Yeah, and then you
You've been clever.
Well, that's what it said on the piece of paper. So that's the only reason I know that. And then there you have it. It was that easy. You've got your own little rocket.
Yeah. So and then you just need to add your flames.
Yes, you need some rocket sort of, what is that? Yeah, it is flames, isn't it? And smoke and
tissue paper, yeah. And then you can cut that up and it can be whoosh, rocket flames.
Fantastic. So kids out there, all you need to do is get onto deborahabela.com, and you can print that out at home and cut it out and make yourself a rocket, which is pretty cool.
I love it so much.
It is great. Hey, Deb, before we let you go, though, could you tell us a little bit more about Bear in Space? Where did you get the idea and what's it all about?
Well, Bear in Space actually began with a real bear. So Marjorie Crosby Farrell, who's the illustrator, she and I were at a writer's day at Taronga Zoo, and we saw a bear, and Marjorie drew this beautiful picture of the bear, and I leaned over her shoulder and I said, can I write his story? And she said, sure. And you might have a friend too who's either a good illustrator or you're a good illustrator and someone's a really good writer. It actually is a really nice thing when you get together with friends and you create stories together. And so I wrote this story and I sent it to her, and she said, oh my goodness, I've got chills. You have written a book about my son, because this book's about a bear who's obsessed with space. And Marjorie has a little boy. He's grown up now, but when he was a little boy, he was obsessed with space. And so he builds a rocket. He actually draws a plan to build a rocket. And now the kids go, oh yeah, that looks all right. But when he says, and I'm going to fly it into space, they all kind of laugh at him. And he's like, no, I'm going to go into space anyway. And when he flies his rocket into space, something extraordinary happens.
Oh, wow. What happens? Oh, can't you tell?
I can't tell you.
A spoiler. No.
You want me to tell you that I've been a spy? You want me to tell you the end of my stories?
I'm trying to get all the inside information from you, Deb, but you're not giving anything away. Maybe she's a spy. They're very good at not giving anything away, aren't they? So Bear in Space, is that out now? So in libraries and shops and all that sort of thing?
It's going to be out on August the 3rd. So a couple of weeks from now. But yeah, maybe when you're watching this, yeah, it's already August and beyond, and you can watch it and you can build your own rocket.
Awesome. Actually, that's the same day that my next book comes out as well. So we're sharing a book birthday. So Derek Dool, going viral, and Bear in Space are sharing a book birthday. So that's kind of nice, isn't it?
Big month, very exciting month.
That's right. Deb, thank you so much for joining us and showing us how to make a rocket. And I hope all the kids out there get onto your website and learn how to assemble that and make their own rocket. It's that simple, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, so get on board that. And Deb, thank you for joining us today. You've also got some colouring stuff there too, I see.
I forgot to say that on the front page of my website too, there's lots of colouring in sheets too. So if you're someone who really likes to colour in, then you can find those sheets, as well as your rocket plan.
That's excellent.
I love
Thank you
it.
so much, Deb. And also make sure all those that were listening earlier about the YABBA Awards, make sure you get on board and have a little look at the New City and the whole trilogy that's being written by Deb, and that New City has been nominated, which is awesome. Because we're in the reading phase, we want you to check out as many of those books as you can, including Deb's, of course, and then voting will happen sometime down the line. And that's pretty exciting too. So make sure you check out New City. And Deb, most of all, thank you so much for joining us today on Author Hangout live stream for kids.
You are very welcome, Adrian. It's so nice to chat, and I will look forward to reading your book as well. How exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Thank you.
You're going to have a rocket for your book too?
There's no rocket in there, but why not? I mean, what book couldn't be improved by putting a rocket in it is what I always say. So I'm going to put one in. Thank you so much, Deb, for joining us. And goodbye, and good luck with Bear in Space. And we hope everyone checks out New City.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Deb. And as I said before, we're going to be doing author hangouts all through the week. So tomorrow, Tristan Banks, he's going to talk a little bit about his YABBA nominated book, which is Detention, but also he's going to give us a little bit of a preview of his latest book, which is Knit Boy. Whenever I say Knit Boy, I start to get a bit itchy. So hopefully that won't happen tomorrow. And who knows what his boredom buster will be, but that'll be a lot of fun. And then, as I said, we've got a whole bunch of authors throughout the week. So make sure you join us around lunchtime, 12:30 p.m. for Author Hangout. And thank you for joining us today. See you tomorrow. Bye.